Well, let's sort of talk through that, because you and me both, we're absolute lovers of kind of automation. Do you want to kind of sort of talk us through? So, for instance, my first year, I kind of juggled everything pretty much, and then it came, well, I suppose, sort of 10 months. I took on my first VA. I had sort of 6 properties at that moment, and I really started doing that. What was I thought at the time, real automation. And then since then, it's happened, I would say, multiple times, because you have to come and reassess that. So how's the sort of automation journey looked within your business? How quickly did you start? I mean, obviously you spoke about your the place opposite. That was the start.
So I think that, are you there? I think it all paused for me there.
Yeah. Did you hear the question, Mark?
You started to talk about automation?
Yeah, if you could just talk through your journey with your properties, as you know, how did you start with automation? What was the kind of progression over time? Oh dear. Did you hear that?
Okay. A bit lost. Yeah. So I've got lots of other people in service accommodation. I done my research into channel managers, and decided to go down communication.
And which one do you use?
A bit like yourself, I use Guesty for hosts. So it's the sort of smaller brother to Guesty. So it does everything I need it to at the moment. You often look over the fence to see what other channel managers are doing, but I've got to a stage now where it would be it'd be a difficult change with the number of properties, including teams, etc. So I'm sticking with what I've got for the time being. It's not broken. I went through. I think I'm on my 3rd VA. So the VA I'm using now, I think I got from you previously, and so that's been 18 months or so now. To Bella, and she's absolutely brilliant. Seems to be every week she's taken on more and more tasks. So that's excellent. I do harness other sort of technological items, so things like landlord specific smart thermostats, which link into the reservation calendar, so they come on like an hour before guests snap, go off an hour after they leave. Things like noise monitors, crowd monitors, and CCTV cameras, which are more preventative things really to stop parties, and everything else like that. And like I said before, I just outsource as much as I can. So I found an interior designer who will work to a brief and furnish a property. And without me even visiting after. Once we've had our initial brief, I don't pretend not to visit. And I found myself a decent photographer, and those two work together brilliantly. They're like my little power team when I'm setting up a new property. And the cleaner, the sort of Guesty for host has a cleaning portal, so the cleaners can log in and see their tasks for the week. So they'll know where the check-ins, check-outs are. They'll have access to guest arrival forms, so the guests sort of will tell us what time they're arriving, whether they want twin beds, king-size beds, whether they're bringing pets, and things like that. So I just try and automate as much as possible.
Amazing. And just one of the things that comes pretty naturally to me, but surprisingly doesn't seem to come that naturally to others, is just giving it all away. I'm rubbish at a lot of things, and I'm really happy to give it away. So you clearly seen the benefits, but equally you are just handing over the reins, and that's not necessarily that easy. How were you able, just as an example, to just hand it over to, you know, the photographer and the interior designer? How did you come to that mindset to be able to do that?
I think with the first one first essay I set up myself, it took me a long time to get all the items in place. Get it furnished, and I was always forgetting something. Like I say, it was just across the road, so my first, you know, it didn't matter so much then, so I could go and do it. And then I tried to take the photos on my iPhone, you know, just doesn't it people, yeah, once you've had them done professionally, you can tell.
Yeah.
So the next one I set up, I just thought, right, I need to get someone in to do this who can do it quicker than me and better than me. So yeah, I got hold of Eloise. I think we both know Eloise, don't we?
Yeah, Eloise Bright.
So yeah, fantastic. So once I started to sort of see the benefits of outsourcing, I was like, right, what else can I outsource? So yeah, I just done as much as I could outsourcing. So yeah, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm bad at. So just outsource the things I'm not so good at and concentrate on things I am good at.
But also it comes down to, doesn't it? Like I'm not too bad at, you know, doing admin stuff, and there can be times in the day where, you know, I'm kind of post afternoon, and, you know, I like to have meetings post afternoon because that keeps my energy up, and I don't want to do a big project. So I could do lots of things, for instance, that my VA does. You know, I could babble away doing those, but inherently I know that's not going to get me going forward. And I still can't believe that people who have jobs don't have VAs. Like, if you're working outside of 9 to 5 and you get paid a good salary, you should have a VA. Like, I just don't understand it. 10 hours a week, I don't know, 50, 75 quid, whatever it is. Why would people be not having their work-life balance? So how was that transition for you? Obviously, you had quite a high-powered job before, so presumably you had people working for you. But how did you find that transition of working for a VA, and especially one who works miles away in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's a strange concept. And sort of took me a little while to get my head around it, because it's almost sort of, one mindset would say, right, well, why would I need somebody to do the things I can do anyway? But then when you sort of, you know, when I started to look at the guest communication side of things, they might ask one question, but it leads into a whole conversation, and that's what, you know, once I got my VA involved, I realized how much time that was saving me. So initially you think it's like, say, it's one question, but it leads on to other questions, and also once that was taken away from me, or I'd sort of delegated it, it freed up my time, but also I wasn't getting the interruptions that I was getting previously, which allowed me to concentrate on whatever it was doing. If it was finding my next rent and, you know, dealing with landlords, etc., I wasn't getting this noise from guests, because I knew that confidently that someone else was dealing with that and dealing with it well. So yeah, it was a revelation.
Yeah, I mean, you and me both. For me, it really was that cliche where people would say, oh, you've got to work more on your business, not in your business. But there was just no wood for the trees for me. I was just like constantly, like, you know, kids and, you know, throwing pieces of paper here, there, and everywhere. It just seemed just overwhelming. And there never seemed to be any good use of my time. You know, you got a plan. I never seemed to have time to plan. Like, just everything just didn't seem possible. I'd see new apps and I'd think that would absolutely answer my needs. And then I didn't have time to research them. And then I didn't have time to implement them. It was just this kind of ongoing thing. And then as soon as I took on a VA, it was just quite crackers. And it was things like that research. Like I love, like Micah, my lovely VA, who, by the way, the only reason Mark is here right now is purely because of my VA. She has sent him, how to get on, what time we're doing, what we need to do, this, that, and the other. We've had a couple of, probably just a couple of WhatsApp messages, haven't we? And that's
literally, yeah.
And that's basically been it. But you felt confident to come here. But it's, for me, it's those research. Like she's actually implemented something into our SA, one of our SA units. And it was because she knows I'm constantly striving to save her time as well. And she came to me and said, this is something that will save me time. Is it okay? I mean, they're very polite. Is it okay if we look at this? And I'm kind of like, hell yeah. I mean, if you think it's going to save you time, it either costs me nothing or only a minuscule amount. I don't want to start necessarily spending huge amounts. Then I'm all over it like a rash. And on top of that, it suddenly opens your mind up. Like I've had a new thing recently where I run I'll plug, but I run a monthly 2 to 4 hours a month where people come in. It's a subscription. It's nothing. It's like £10 a month. But in that, you know me, I love mindset. And one of my new mentees, we've really gone quite deep into some of the mindset stuff. And I thought, you know what, I need to go back to concentrating much more on the mindset again. So I want to do once a month, but I wanted to formulate a program. And already, just with my VA, ChatGPT, we're just formulating a program, a 6-month program. I won't do very much in that formulation. And all I have to do is just turn up and teach it, basically. And that's suddenly all done. Well, that would have taken, I don't know about you, Mark, but that would have taken me 6 months to prepare in the past.
Yeah. So on a similar sort of note, my VA came to me last month, I think it was. She set up this Trello. So she was creating all these different boards for things that she wanted to remind herself about. So tasks that she didn't want to forget, etc. And so she asked me to log in, take a look. We discussed how this would benefit us, how we should work together with this, what input she wanted from herself. And I thought, yeah, okay, brilliant. I knew of some of these apps, but I wasn't at a stage to implement them. So no, things like that, they're absolutely amazing. So there are things like, when gas certificates are due, etc. She sets herself reminders. She knows which plumbers and heat engineers to go and contact and gives them access. Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Couldn't do it without VA.
Yeah, I love that. No, we're the same. We use, actually, Trello is kind of like what I would call our filing cabinet. We tend to use not so much for projects, and then we use Asana. And yeah, Micah has exactly the same. We have something Monday to Friday, and she each day. So like, what day is it today? Monday. So everything will be today, and the rest of the week will be mostly bare, obviously, unless there's spitting. And then if she hasn't completed the things today, it all goes into tomorrow. And because that enables us, if I suddenly need her to do something, I can go in there, see where her priorities are, and that might be different. I might be like, oh, that doesn't matter, don't do that, do this. That's usually the thing that we crop in. So no, I'm really pleased. I would really recommend, guys, really think about letting go and getting a VA, because it can absolutely transform whatever business you're doing, whatever you are, anything that you do repetitively, or if you're running your own business, just stop. There's more to life.